go walk.
Ghost of God, my high marijuana. And if you guys can't tell, support for marijuana legalization is at an all-time high. And I'm not just saying that because we're seeing it legalized in states and more states taking on medical marijuana. I'm saying that because Gallup released some more data, and as of the year 2015, we're tied with 2013 again. We're at an all-time high of 58% of Americans in favor of legalization. Now, Gallup's been collecting information since 1969, where at that time only 12% of Americans were in favor. As we see now, once again, that number has risen to 58%, and that number is higher among younger Americans, aged 18 to 34, at 71%, and the lowest percentage of Americans are those aged 65 and older, and only about 35% of those are in favor of legalization. And we see once people reach the age of 80 and older, that number actually drops down to 19%. So I guess the question now is why? Why is it that younger Americans seem to be in favor of legalization and the older Americans tend to be opposed? Well, I guess I have my own little theory here. As we see on the previous chart again, it was the group that was born from 1935 and earlier that were more opposed to marijuana. We do a little research on the history of marijuana. We go all the way back in 1619 in Virginia. We actually required every single farmer to grow hemp, and hemp can be exchanged as currency in Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Maryland. So fast forward now 300 years later, the 1930s, and that's when we finally start having the fear of marijuana. In 1936, you see the propaganda film, Reefer Madness came out that scared everybody about pot and had all the lies and all the bullshit in it. And then finally in 1937, they passed the Marijuana Tax Act, which effectively criminalized marijuana. So, thinking about this in this timeline now, we had marijuana in this country for like over 300 years. We required people to grow it. We exchanged it as currency. And then come the 30s, we start having this fear, all this propaganda about marijuana. We have the film Reefer Madness come out. And in 1937, we have the Tax Act. When we go back to this chart, I said those born the year 1935 and earlier were only in favor of 19%. I have a feeling that that's because at that point in time, their parents were products of the Reefer Madness and what was going on at that point in time and all the fear and all the propaganda about marijuana. So they were raised to think the same way. As time's going on now, we're seeing not even, 70, 80 years later, and marijuana's being legalized again. Didn't even last 100 years. People saw through that bullshit real quick. So we've had it in this country for 300 years prior. It's been prohibited for under 100 years now, and it's going to be legalized nationwide, like eventually. It's going to happen in my lifetime. I would definitely believe that. So I just think that's fucking awesome, and basically that was the basis of this video, to let you guys know that the number is still increasing, let you guys see those charts and see what's going on. And just let you guys know, get out there and vote and fucking make shit happen, because we're starting to wake up and we're starting to see that this is some bullshit. And as you can see in those previous charts, even the older Americans that were in the lower percentage of those in favor, that number has increased as the years have gone on. That number was lower and lower years and years ago, and it's starting to increase, and more are in favor. So people are kind of starting to wake up to the bullshit. They're starting to see marijuana for all the medical reasons that it's actually good for, and I just think that's awesome. So y'all know how we do, man. Y'all toke up, smoke up, dab 30s all the time, and fucking like, subscribe. Smile high marijuana. Ghost of God. We signing out.
Problems away. Do you mind if I burn one? And if you do, then I will take a sentence. When blood clot, you know where we come from. Let me smoke, no problem.